Hi.
Here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dialogues About Death show with your host, Chris Miller. Hi, Chris.
Good morning, Mary. Good morning, world.
To the millions of people watching today, Merry
Yes,
Christmas. Oh my gosh, Christmas is in 4 days.
4 days.
4 days. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Are you excited, Chris?
I am. I'm so excited because I am ready. I'm ready to do my cooking here on Christmas Eve. I've got my shopping done. The presents are wrapped under the tree. We're ready to go. And now it's just about family. It's all about bringing people together over the next 4 or 5 days.
I love it. I love that you're on it. In fact, we're ready too, which is a shock. We're usually like into the last minute and everything is wrapped and we're just can just chill and just really enjoy the season. The reason for this season, right?
That's right.
Yes. So, without further ado, let's get right into it because we have a really important topic today that a lot
Yeah.
of people deal with. Um, it's a really hard time. In fact, last Sunday, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about what you do every year. I shared a little bit on your social media. It was just such a beautiful thing. Tell us what happened last Sunday.
Sure. Last Sunday we have an annual memorial service, and we invite all the families that we've served over the past 12 months, and it gives them the opportunity to come back to let them know that they're not alone going through this holiday season. And it's such a powerful service. Everybody in that room at that time has something in common. They all lost a loved one over the last 12 months, and we bring in a couple pastors. They share their stories and their thoughts about loss and grief around the holidays, and letting them know that it's about coming together like we did, and hopefully healing some of those voids that they've created over this last year.
Yeah, that's so special. And we're going to be talking about that today. I mean, last show 2 weeks ago we talked about how to face loss during the holiday.
Yeah,
That's what it happens like during the holidays. But grief is a little bit different because grief can hang on.
yeah,
You might have lost, like I lost my mom this year is will be in next year 20 years.
hmm,
And last night at the Christmas show, my mom's name was Gloria, and, any song that has the word Gloria or Glory, Gloria, oh my gosh,
yeah,
and it's been 20 years. And, that kind of
yeah.
stuff just hits you out of the blue sometimes. And it's not that it's
It
bad,
does.
it's bittersweet because this was my mom's Christmas sweater, and,
Oh,
I honor her and love the memories I have with her, even though at Christmas time, I miss her so much, I can physically it aches,
yeah,
right? But for someone who might
yes,
have lost someone more recently, it aches even more. So, today we're gonna really talk about dealing with grief. And if you are dealing with grief right now, I hope these words bless you and will give you comfort. If you are know someone who is still in grief or going through something, even if you don't even know, please share this with them. This is not shameless plugging of promoting the show, but we're hoping
yeah.
that some of Chris's um,
Just my
perspective,
thoughts.
yeah,
It's my perspective and my thoughts on grief. I've lost my dad and my wife over the last 10 to 15 years. I've had loss in my life, and it's how we make adjustments throughout the year and around the holidays and around celebrations. Birthdays, anniversaries, how those things even change throughout the year. So it's just not the holidays. It's just kind of coping and making adjustments as when you've lost that person, of what you do to remember them and memorialize them, but then also maybe make some adjustments and new traditions.
exactly. And it's
Yeah,
true all year long, you're aware of that. But for some reason, the holidays seem to bring up all that stuff, right? Because the traditions and
yeah.
things you have with your family. So, hey, we have Keisha joining us. Good morning,
Good
Keisha.
morning.
And Steve Areno, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you guys so
Beautiful.
much
Good
for being
morning.
live. If you anyone again, the last thing I'm going to say, housekeeping wise, before we go to the first question, is if you have a question, please pop it into the comments. We'd love to answer it live.
You
Chris
bet.
loves answering things on the fly, and
Sure.
and so we hope again share this with your community if this is something that you think will bless them. All right, let's
You
get
bet.
into it, Chris. Here we go. Our first
You bet.
question that has come in from the interwebs, and I will go
Yes.
off screen and let you answer this. First one is, how can I handle holiday gatherings while I'm grieving? And I'm going to go off screen so you can answer this. But again, from your experience, your perspective, how
Sure.
can somebody do this?
Sure. trying to handle grief around the holidays. A lot of people want to isolate themselves, and always holidays is always a kind of a joyous time when families and friends come together. And it's just as important to still get out around those holidays. Um, it's really good to have support and to be around others and allow yourself to be vulnerable out there. And what's important is those friends are going to know that you've lost that loved one, your close friends and your family. And it's really to talk to them and allow them to talk to you and share those stories and those memories about past holidays that you had and maybe past traditions that you had. The more you can talk through the loss of your loved one and memorialize them through that, it kind of helps reduce that pain and that heartache. So I say, I encourage you to get out there. When somebody's inviting you over to a Christmas party, I know it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel awkward, maybe even going out by yourself. But once you're there, you're going to be able to share those stories and memories. It's going to kind of make you feel good. You're going to get those butterflies in your system when you start talking about your loved one again. And yeah, you might weep a tear, you might cry a little bit, and that's okay. That's part of the healing. But then you're going to also laugh and have some joy of some of those great memories that you had in the past too. So I encourage you to get out with friends and family and to share and allow them to share stories about them that you may not even be aware of, because that is what makes it a really special time in trying to cope with grief around the holidays.
I love that. It is true. People will come around you and they'll want to. And I hope to encourage also, if you have a loved one or a friend or family member that has lost someone who's close to them. So it's maybe your aunt lost her husband, or a sister lost a child. I mean, make sure you talk to them about it. Don't avoid it. That's something I've
Yeah,
learned from you, Chris, is that people want to talk about their loved one. They don't want to feel like people have forgotten them, that their
that's
life
right. It,
matters.
it's you can say it's the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's probably the one thing you all need to talk about, and not to obsess about it the whole time that you're there, but take some time out of your evening or your day or over the couple days that you're together. Just some moments and time will help ease some of that pain and heartache.
I love it. Very good advice. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yes.
Okay, so the next question came in, which was, should I change or maintain holiday traditions after a loss? So I'm going to go off screen and let you answer that.
Sure. It was a story told the other day at our service. It was by our pastor that was there, Pastor Eric Perez. And he shared a story about a tradition. He had lost his sister earlier in the year, and she was the big tamale maker in their family. And the kids wanted to memorialize their mom and said, hey, we're going to pick up the slack. We're going to keep the tradition alive, and we're going to make the tamale. And he was saying that his sister was the best tamale maker. She made she had the masa down. She had the mole down. She just rocked it, and everybody loved his sister's tamales. And so this year, the kids were making the tamales, and they got the masa, and they made the mole, and they put them all together, and the tamales were terrible. And they all kind of started laughing. It's like, well, we try to keep the tradition alive, which was a great thought and wanting to memorialize their mom. But they said from here on out, they're going to have to create some new traditions. And so that's what I encourage you. There could be some traditions, making cookies, maybe making a fruit cake, maybe making a special drink or cocktail, or having a special meal or a side dish. You could attempt it. You could maybe do that to memorialize your loved one. But sometimes maybe put a twist on it. Maybe make that special cookie, but maybe make a different cookie, or maybe make something a little different. So you're doing something to remember them, but maybe not do it the exact same way. So you kind of get the best of both worlds of doing a tradition, but making a twist on it. So then you're kind of putting your own mark on starting a new tradition. I know it's always difficult, especially the first year or two when you have that loss and that void around the table. Maybe light a candle for the first year, just to have the memory or the spirit of that person with you. But I encourage you to create some new traditions after you've lost your loved one. It kind of makes things go a little smoother. I feel in some of the losses that I've occurred over my life, we've changed some of our traditions compared to when my wife was alive and when my dad was alive. We've done some things different, but we still remember them of some of the things we did during the holidays. So again, keep some of the traditions, but put a new twist on it. I think that's my best recommendation to you.
I love that. That's awesome. Yes, it's so true. And in a way that because her tamales, I love that story. Because her tamales were terrible, that's cool. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so that was what she did best. And that's kind of honoring her as well, which is great. We actually had a few
Yep.
more comments. So Keisha said that is an awesome perspective. I love it. And we also have a new viewer who came on who wrote something that doesn't all fit on the screen. Oh, wait, I can make it fit on the screen.
Wow.
Okay, but let's see. So she wrote, Chris, this is Sherry. Sherry Wenches, if I'm saying that correctly. She
Yes.
said, I just wanted to let you know that you were such a very special man and the heartfelt words and kindness that you share with other people. It's like a warm hug. Just wanted to let you know that and have a Merry Christmas to all of you. Love you.
Oh,
Oh, is she somebody from the family?
she's from my family. She's my sister's, my wife's stepsister who lives back in Kentucky.
Oh, how wonderful.
So
Oh,
cousin
that's
Sherry, I mean, I call her cousin Sherry because she's like the cousin, but she's an aunt to the kids and stuff. And so yeah, so she listens into a lot of the things I say. So thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you
oh,
making a few comments there.
yeah, that is so sweet that she took the time to come on. So thank you,
Yeah.
Sherry. I really appreciate that. Hey, if you can, share this out on your profile as well so more people can see how awesome your cousin is. I love it.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's get to the next question. We have so many today.
Yes.
All right, here is the next one. So this came in. How do I talk to my children about grief during the holidays? I know that's a touchy subject. You have children,
Yeah.
so you had to do it. But again, what would you tell someone who comes into your service and your care and how to talk to their children?
Boy, that's tough. I mean, I was fortunate enough that my kids were adults when my wife passed away, so it wasn't having to explain it to a child. You know that maybe no longer their parent is there or their grandparent is there. But you just got to be real about it. You know, don't sugarcoat it. You know, you can let them know that if it was a grandma or grandpa that was older, it might be a little bit. You know, grandma and grandpa got old and they got tired and they were sick and they passed away. And you know, but we'll remember what grandma used to do when she used to make cookies for all the kids and stuff like that. If it's a parent, you know, if a child lost a mother or father, it's almost it's hard to even explain. I think all you could do is just give them the hugs and loves and support that they need, and just try not to overdo it. Try not to over um, give them too much, but you got to just be real with them and explain to them that you know there was a reason why you know they got an illness or a sickness and they had left us. It's never easy, and so it's hard for me to really put into words because I haven't dealt with it directly, even though I have kids that lost their mother. I didn't have being adults, it was easier for us to explain. And I think they understood it a little bit more too because they were young adults. Um, and I think just coming together, I think it's just the presence of other family members, maybe the aunts and uncles coming around. If you have other family, helping the other parent or the other family members support that child. And well, like going back to the last question, maybe starting a new tradition with those children to memorialize their parent, if that would be the case.
Yes, and it's something
Yeah.
that someone I remember told me, and again, I was an adult as well when my mother passed away. But I've heard other people. I've been to a lot of funerals in my life, and I've heard
Yeah.
it said kind of poignantly where they're really young children that I've heard somebody say, you know, well, the Lord said that she was done here on earth.
Yeah.
Her work was done, and He wanted to bring her home to rest and
Yeah.
to get her have her glory because you know my mother used to always say when we were doing something that was hard, she would say, "Well, there will be jewels in heaven." And
Yes.
so I've heard it say like they're ready to redeem their crown, or their
Yeah, their
palace
wings.
in heaven. Their wings, yeah, they earned their wings, and it was time to go. And
Yeah,
that they won't be in any more pain or suffering. They're now
that's
rejoicing
true.
and dancing and doing all the things they loved here in a new heaven. So
Yes, I
yeah, so
agree.
that was something
Those are
that
some good words.
brought me comfort, is that she did all she could here, and she knew that you'd be okay. So, and that's something I tell my friends whose mom is passing. I said, even if you don't think they can hear
Yeah,
you, whisper in their ear, "Thank you for raising me, and you're this amazing family that
yes,
you're leaving. We're going to be okay. Know that your work, what you did, such a good job here, and we know that we'll continue taking care of each other, and that everything, we're going to be okay when you go to heaven, and you'll be watching us." So, I think those
yeah,
words of comfort helps the
yeah,
person passing as well. Um, so, anyways,
absolutely. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Great.
So,
Those are some great words from you, Mary. Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. I know, I think I was, telling somebody recently that, I look back on my calendar, and of the funerals I wrote down, I went to 80 funerals in the last 10 years. So these are
Wow.
people I knew personally, and, so I've heard a
I don't
few
even think
things.
I've been to that many, Mary.
I'm sure you have. It's made, the work I do with you more meaningful, because I
Yeah,
know what people go through. So it brings me so much joy to work with you, Chris. Okay,
thank you.
so we've kind of covered this next one that came in a little bit about what
Yeah.
should I say to
Mhm.
someone who is grieving during the holidays. Would you have any last tips on this one?
You know, it's not even about what you say, it's just your presence. Your presence is a present around the holidays. I think that's as simple as I can put it. Your presence is a present. Just being there, giving them a hug, giving them condolences, just giving them that warm hug of support. I think that is more precious than pure gold, you could say. Um, Sometimes words, people never know what to say, but just to be there is golden. And I say that would be my biggest advice around the holidays, is just be there for that person and give them a big hug. That's the biggest present you can give.
I love that. Very cool. Okay. All right. We have just a couple more, and we'll wrap this
Okay.
up. We appreciate your time
All
here
right.
today to answer these questions, because really it's interesting what people write in about. And I really appreciate this show, because people say, wow, dialogues about death. I'm like, well, it happens to everyone, right? We're all going to
Absolutely.
die. So it's better to be upfront and be able to talk about it, so not only you can deal with it, but also someone help them deal with it. I think we're given
That's
things to
right.
deal with because it helps us prepare to help other people with it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Every circumstance that we deal with within life prepares us for the next.
exactly. I love it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's two more questions. So,
Yeah.
here, this was an interesting one. Is it
Okay.
normal to feel guilty for enjoying the holidays when grieving? And I'll let you answer that.
Is it normal to feel guilty? I would say you you shouldn't feel guilty as long as you left everything on the table with your loved one. I mean, unless you held something back, there shouldn't be anything to feel guilty about. If you lay it all on the table and you're able to communicate those words to them, and again, there are some circumstances that may not have been done, so there might be a little guilt, but you can't hang on to that guilt, because that guilt will destroy you. You just got to give it up to the guy up there also, um, give it up. If you didn't make peace with your loved one, your family member, you can always make peace with him up there. And I say, don't hold on to the grief or the guilt. um, and again, that goes for any time of the year, just not the holidays. It's okay to, like I said, get out, mingle with friends and family. It's okay to have a drink, one or two, be responsible about it. Enjoy the food and festivities of the holidays. I think your loved one, especially if they were love the holidays, which I know my wife loved the holidays. She loved to decorate the house and stuff. I think it would be wrong not to celebrate the holidays in memory of them. So don't ever feel guilty unless you felt like you had some unresolved issues with that loved one. Then that's something you need to work through above and beyond just the holidays.
Yes, exactly. And I think the question was more like if you're having a good time at a party and then you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't be having any fun because my loved one just
No,
died.
no, I don't think so.
No.
No, I don't think you should feel guilty about that. I'm encouraging people to get out there and mingle with people. That's so important. You shouldn't
Yeah.
feel guilty about that.
And I think your loved one would want you to. They don't want you sitting at
Absolutely.
home and being sad and, that isn't
Even
all
though
the movies say.
there's a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies on, you could stay home all by yourself and watch Hallmark, 30 days of Hallmark, but I don't think that's what it's all about. It's about getting out there and enjoying the festivities with family and friends and throwing yourself out there and getting back into it. I've had many friends at my Rotary Club, they've lost loved ones. And I've noticed some of them have pulled back from showing up at Rotary all the time. I'm like, but Rotary is like a second family. And coming together with other Rotarians, I encourage all those Rotarians. It's like, yeah, you've lost your spouse, but this is your second family. So come out and enjoy getting together with your fellow Rotarians and enjoy the holidays and enjoy,
Right.
serving,
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Because
what
it's a
makes me
service
feel
club.
good.
Yeah, which, by
Yeah.
the way, little plug, we were just talking about this. Your Fire and Ice fundraiser is coming up in February,
Yes,
right? February
it,
22nd?
it is. Yep. Our Circle City Rotary Club of Corona, California is having it's our 10th annual Fire and Ice,
Wow.
Chili, and Brew Festival. And this year, we're starting a new division of salsa. So if anybody has any special salsa recipes, you'd like to enter a salsa recipe instead of a chili recipe, you can do salsa or chili. Or if you know of any microbreweries that would like to have their beer on tap, it's a great event. It's going to be on February 22nd of 2025. It's the last Saturday in February, and you can get your tickets on Eventbrite.
Okay. Well, I'll get the link from you and we'll put it in the show notes. So in case anybody
That'd be
watching, you
great.
can get your tickets. And I didn't know it's a competition. So you're
It
competing
is.
for the best chili, the best salsa. Is it the best beer as well?
Yeah, the brewers just compete for like a trophy or a plaque,
Oh.
but the chili and the salsa, I believe, like first place gets like $500. So there's some
Ooh.
money to be made.
Yeah,
That'll pay off some of that Chris. It'll pay off some of that Christmas debt.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, that good plug. We just threw that in there. I love that.
Yeah, that
Okay.
all worked
Oh,
out.
and I was gonna say, speaking of, you just mentioned like Rotary is another family. So your family doesn't have to be of blood. Family could be the friends you choose. Could be family.
Absolutely.
But also, if you don't have it, there's a lot of people who say, "Well, I don't have family or friends in this area. I'm new. I just moved here." So wherever you are, you could volunteer for a group that you feel passionate about. Like maybe you have a heart for the homeless. You
Yep.
could go to the like a food pantry. Like I know you sponsor the local food pantry, Chris.
Yes.
And I know that was your wife's passion project. So you've continued her legacy with
Yes.
that, which is lovely. Um,
Yeah.
you could go and help pack boxes for Operation Christmas Child. You could go to a local thrift store and help hang up clothes. It's like a charity based thrift store. There's so many things you
Absolutely.
can do that'll help you get out with people, that will help you keep busy so you're not focusing on the loss, right?
Yep. And serving others makes you feel good also. So, go to your church if you belong to a church. Your church has a lot of different ministries within your church. But you know what? If you're not a church going person, um, I encourage you to. But also, our couple cities here, we have great senior center community. So within the Corona has a senior center. Norco has a senior center. So if you're more of a senior that has lost a spouse, I encourage you to go out to the local senior centers. They have activities, they do events, and it's a way to meet new people and get out. I
Yeah,
encourage you, do not stay home.
right.
There's so much to do, especially in our Inland Empire of Southern California. We have so many organizations for charity, so many non-for-profits that can definitely use help for volunteers. That would maybe that's a new tradition you can start with the loss of your loved one, is going out to serve others
Love
and
it.
make a difference, and it'll brighten your heart, it'll brighten your holiday spirit by serving those that are less fortunate than you.
Yeah. I love that. Nice tie-in. I think that is so important. In fact,
Thank
on
you.
that note, we're going to start sending out emails with community news, like events,
Yes.
resources, things like that. So if you're interested in getting that, just put your email or private message Chris or the Thomas Miller Facebook page, and we'll add your name,
Yep.
and you'll start getting those. So different ways you can volunteer, activities you can
Yep.
do, because we really want to be a resource of life. Even though you're a mortuary,
Yes.
you are living up until the point where you're going to heaven. So we want to help you
That is
live
correct.
better, get involved in the community, know what the different volunteer opportunities that you have. So, wow, this is just all tying
Absolutely.
together, Chris. We didn't even plan that. That was great. Okay.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at how awesome we are.
Wonderful.
And this is the last
We are.
Dialogues About Death show before the end of the year. So we're just
Yes.
wrapping everything up. Okay. So I think this was the last question that came in, Chris. Um,
Okay.
but I think we kind of answered this about, bless you, how to honor my loved one during the holiday season. So if you have any final thoughts, I'll go off screen and you can answer this one.
Sure. Any way to honor your loved one? Like I say, we talked a little bit earlier about we have our annual memorial service, and so one thing that we do at our service is we make an ornament for each family member that attends our service, and we give them that ornament to take home to place it on their Christmas tree. And so I still have my ornament for my wife. It's up on the tree from 8 years ago, and I have it there. So every Christmas when I'm unwrapping all my stuff and decorating the tree, I always have her ornament. I put it up kind of up top by the star, the angel on my tree, and it's just one way that you can like kind of memorialize or remember your family member. So I would say doing little things like that. Maybe something around the house. Maybe if they love snowman, then decorate your house. Maybe every year get a little snowman ornament or a goodie or something around the house. If they were patriotic and love flags, maybe, making sure your flag is flown outside. There's so many little things that you could do to remember and commemorate your loved one. So maybe think of something that they did and tie it into what you can do to perpetuate their memory.
I love it. That is awesome. Hey, I was just
Yeah.
noticing that we had kind of mentioned your Rotary Club, which is the Fire and Ice again, February 22nd, 2025,
Yeah.
which is going to come up quickly. We always think about it's next year, right? Next year. Well, that's only like a month and a half away, right? So
It is.
fast.
Yeah. Far nice. It's about 8 weeks away or so. We're going to
Wow.
be 8 or maybe 10 weeks. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
that's
almost there.
okay. Well, what I was going to say is I just noticed that you guys were nominated or you won Service Club of the Year for the Corona.
Yep, it's non for profit uh, of the year service club through the Corona Chamber of Commerce. So we're going to be recognized. I think it's January 23rd. It's a
Okay.
Thursday night at Eagle Glen. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be there because I'm still going to be in Thailand and Cambodia doing a mission trip with
That's
my church.
That's right. Okay,
So,
and
so we're
that's
going to be going dark. We're going dark in January. I won't be doing
just
any
the
dad
show.
shows.
Just the show.
This will be
Thomas
yeah,
Miller is open.
just the show. Yeah,
Yes.
Thomas Miller Mortuary. We're always open 24/7, 365. But my show that I do here, once or twice a month, I'm going to be putting on it on a January hiatus. We'll be back in February
Yes.
with some new topics for 2025.
I love it. I love it. So yes, just wrapping up the show, just the end of the year. Just that again, you're all over all the social medias, your websites.
Yes,
Everybody knows really how to get a hold of you. But just in case, locally we have a chapel in Corona and also a chapel in Riverside. But
yes,
you cover all of Southern California with
we do.
cremation and all the things. So if anyone needs anything, the family, the Thomas Miller family will definitely help you.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I really appreciate you taking the time, Chris. And I just, I mean, I didn't want this to go by. You had reminded me that you're going to Thailand. Let's just wrap up the show by sharing a little bit about this passion because, and I'm going to go off screen to do it and then we'll say goodbye. But what you're doing with Sheer Love and Free Reign
Sure.
and there's another, so I have their purse.
So it's
Anyways,
so
what you're doing
free
is
and sheer
amazing.
love. Yep.
Sheer Love, yes. So I'll go off screen, but tell us a little bit about why you donate, obviously financially, but also of your time to go help this organization.
Sure. Yeah, I find it in my heart. I've given back to my community for years and years. And that was something my parents always told me to do. But over the last year or two, I found it very important that I do ministry outside of our country too, and try to spread love and good news around the world. So this year, it'll be my second year. I was there last year about a year and a half ago. I went to Thailand and Cambodia. It was a week in Thailand and a week in Cambodia. And the week that we're in Thailand, we work with an organization called Share Love International and So Free International. And it's an organization that removes men and women from human trafficking. And they teach them a trade of being a cosmetologist or beautician or a barber or a seamstress. And so it's really rewarding. These men and women are brutally abused in sex trade and stuff, and this organization helps remove them and gives them a trade so they don't have to go back to that lifestyle, which is just terrible. I had to experience about a year and a half ago, and it's just devastating that people are abused like this, and then people would abuse other people too. And so our church goes there and partners with them. We work with them to teach them English, teach them the Word of God, give them a trade, and we've also built some homes and houses for them to live in once they get out of that situation, so they have a place to stay. And so for me, it's just a little part of my life that I want to give back. To say that I've spread love and good positive news of Jesus Christ to those people too. So it's just something that makes me feel good. But it's I think that what we're all here to do. And if you can't go internationally, you do it here locally. But if we can all spread love, I mean, love is what's going to make the world go round. And I mean, I think things are changing. I think we're all in a good place now. And I could just see it. This holiday season seems to be more joyous as we move forward. And so I encourage you too to spread love throughout the holidays and throughout 2025.
I'm gonna cry. That's so sweet.
Oh,
That's so sweet, Chris. Thank you for your
yeah.
heart. Thank you for really knowing what's important in life. So that's awesome. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much for being here live. Those who showed up and those who shared it, we really appreciate it. We wish you a joyous and glorious Christmas and a blessed and
Yes,
prosperous new year. It's 2025.
absolutely.
I think is going to be amazing, and
It will be.
we just hope that this show has blessed you. I can't believe this was episode number 19, Chris. Um,
Yes.
Wow. So we're going to start the new year with episode 20. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
So again, thank you for your time and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Have a good day and Happy New
Bye bye.
Year.